Also, I didn't know if you have this experience, but they don't use much AC. Like, they have air conditioners.
They're built different.
But they just don't use them, you know? So I don't know. I was like, telling my girlfriend, like, we were at her grandmother's house one night. And I'm like, hey, it's hot. Yeah. She's like, yeah, it's okay. It's like fine. I'm like, no. It's I'm sweating. It's hot.
I can't sleep like this.
Can't sleep.
Welcome back to Drop a Pin. Today I'm excited, and I'm sure Donnie is too, because we have none other than our good friend Jersey Jerry. Jersey Jerry, you're like, well, what is he going to talk about? Pittsburgh? Is he going to talk about South Jersey? Where is he going to talk about? The answer is Colombia.
Yes.
Colombia. Yeah, and not Columbia, South Carolina. Colombia,
Yeah.
South America.
With an
The
O.
spelling always fucked me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still does.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's always
C-O-L-O.
Yeah.
boom.
I feel like it should be C-O-L-U.
Yeah, that's like our Columbia here.
Yeah.
Like South Carolina.
I never understood that.
Colombia.
Yeah.
You just got to spell it how they pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Colombia.
And it's one of the few foreign countries you've traveled to. Is it the only one or?
It is the only one.
Okay.
Never been outside of the U.S. besides there.
And what prompted your trip to Colombia is your baby mama?
Yeah.
Your girlfriend?
Yeah.
She's Colombian.
Yeah, Colombian, 100%.
So when you got, were you nervous because it was your first time out of the United States?
Oh, yeah.
You're a little bit nervous?
Oh, yeah.
What were you nervous about?
Getting robbed.
Yeah.
Us getting robbed.
Yeah.
Kidnapped. Some type of cartel or something like that. Getting us.
Yeah,
I didn't bring any of my jewelry. I just basic white shoes with like black pants and a black T-shirt. Pretty much dressed the same the whole time there.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be too flashy with it, like gold cross or something like that. You know, no watches, nothing.
Was she calling you a pussy?
No, she was actually the one who was like, "Hey, don't bring,
Okay, good. Yeah.
don't bring any of this stuff."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's weird. You know, I've always traveled and bought watches or you know,
Yeah.
a chain or something like that. But yeah, she was like, "Nah, don't do that. Bad idea." So I was like, "All right, yeah, fuck, I'm not."
Yeah, I mean, I don't really blame you because in the 80s and maybe the early 90s, Colombia was considered one of the most dangerous places on the planet. Like, had one of the highest homicide rates.
Was that Castro? Was that during his time?
Close. It was Pablo Escobar.
Oh, okay. Castro's Cuba.
Yeah.
Castro's Cuba.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not very well versed in this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was all because of Pablo. And actually, it was all because of American cokeheads, I think.
Yeah.
Because we're the reason that Pablo was able to get so rich and make so much money.
And there's lots of theories on that, like why cocaine and crack became so popular in like Miami, and a lot of people say it's because the government wanted people to be.
Yeah. And apparently cocaine, like, it's been around longer than Pablo Escobar, because at one point you could buy it over the counter and like house moms would take it being like, oh, I'm going to clean the house today.
It was one of the most popular medicines prescribed.
Yeah, I'm going to
Back
go
in the
buy a
day.
little.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I smoked crack.
Yeah, like if you were feeling lethargic and you didn't have a lot of energy, they would bring a little crack on you.
Did they used to put it in Coke too? Is that real?
Yeah.
That is real.
That
That
is
is
real.
true. Very small amounts,
Wow.
but they did put it in there. And then, I don't know, maybe it was made illegal, and then I don't know how all of a sudden it like became a very fashionable party drug in the 80s.
I think that's what people say. Is like the FBI and some parts of the CIA wanted to have that addiction become a super big problem to give them reasons to go conduct combat operations in like Colombia.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Actually, I can blame that on my crack addiction.
Yeah, you should blame the FBI.
Fuck
Shut it
the
down.
FBI.
But one of my favorite things about Pablo Escobar, I would love to be around crack addicted hippos.
Well, the hippos were never addicted to crack. Okay.
Cocaine, right?
No, they were never. They were called cocaine hippos because it was cocaine money that was used to buy the hippos from Africa.
Oh, I thought that they were actually like doing coke.
No, they were bought with
Seems bad for
coke
their heart.
money. They were not.
Wait, why were they buying hippos?
Just because Pablo had like more money than God for a while. That's why he was stronger than the government there. He kind of just ran the entire country for a
Like
bit.
factories full of cash.
And he loved hippos. Maybe they were guard hippos to protect his money.
Dude, that's the
But-
best kind. Like, would you rather have hippo protection or crocodile protection? I think I'm going hippo.
Hippo.
I would take a hippo. Those things are tanks. And he built this like large mansion a couple hours south of Medellin, and he was kind of a Robin Hood character, fuck over the government but give back to the local community. So he kind of built his own zoo and made it like free entrance for all the poor villagers in the area. And he kind of just supplied all of his own animals. So it's not cheap to get a hippo, but I think he just paid bank and had a couple shipped over from Africa somehow. And then once he got 2 or 3 hippos, they started reproducing. And even after Pablo was thrown in prison and then killed, the hippos kept on reproducing. Now that area of Colombia has like a hippo infestation.
I thought I read recently that they took them out. I thought I read recently they took them out.
Wow. No, because there's like, let's look up the stats because there might be like.
Yeah, look that up, Sam. Are the cocaine hippos still there?
Oh yeah, I know for a fact they're still there. How many hippos are in Colombia? I think there's probably 170 currently, but some people think that by the year 2035, there's going to be 1,000 hippos in Colombia.
Shit.
And there are some viral videos I've seen where just kids are having a local soccer game and a hippo will run out onto the field.
Oh my God.
Like they're becoming a problem. And the thing is that they can't just go and shoot them because then like the rest of the world would be like, how dare you kill these hippos? And then if they just want to transport them humanely back to Africa, that's like crazy expensive. And they don't have the money for it.
That's millions of dollars.
Yeah,
because you'd have to do like a cargo ship.
Yep, a cargo ship. First, you'd have to tranquilize it, and then have a helicopter like tie its legs together, transport it to a cargo ship, and then or a cargo ship or a cargo plane, and then fly it all the way back to Africa.
But if you did cargo planes, how many planes would that be?
Yeah, how many can you fit in one plane?
I mean, a C-130, you could fit a shit ton of military equipment, like several tanks and Humvees, so you could probably stack them up. But that's a long time for a hippo to be tranked.
Yeah, that would also be...
Yeah, it's
one of those fuckers wakes up at 35,000 feet. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That would be a great movie. The sequel to Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah.
Hippos on a plane.
This motherfucking hippo's on this motherfucking plane.
They wake up over the Atlantic and it's just fucking The Rock having to subdue
Where are they
them.
living in Colombia? In like the Amazon? Like,
Yeah. And that's why they thrive there, because the conditions in parts of Colombia are similar to where they thrive in Africa.
Gotcha.
I bet they have no predators, too. Maybe a jaguar? Maybe.
I don't even think a jaguar.
I don't think it would fuck
could
with
take
it.
a hippo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went back to that zoo that he opened up and got to see his mansion, and they still have some hippos in the zoo, but then also a bunch escaped and are just in the local swamps.
Shit. What were some of your favorite spots?
So I did some golfing out there. I met a guy out there. Security / chauffeur. I got there and we were there for I think like 10 days.
Where'd you fly into?
Cartagena.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So it was did we have a direct flight? I think we had direct flight from Jersey to Cartagena, but I was looking up flights. We're going in April again. There's no direct from Chicago, I don't think.
Okay.
Which is weird. I don't know why. Anyway, we get in and I was there for a day and I'm like, it's pretty cheap here. I'm sure I can get some sort of like service to hang out with us, bring us to dinners, and just to feel safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looked up some stuff online. I thought when I purchased it, I thought this is totally fake. There's no way this guy is going to be with us for 7 days from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and it's going to cost me like $200. Like there's no way. Sure enough, it was legit.
Yep.
This guy's name was George. Still talking to him to this day on WhatsApp.
Nice.
He chauffeured us around the whole time there. Probably my favorite experience was golfing out there. I golfed at this place. Started with a C. I think it's called Caravana. Something like that. Goldfinger, maybe look it up. Type in Cartagena Golf. See what comes up.
Now, were you solo on the golf course? Or did you find some
Yes,
people?
me and him. He was my caddy. He ended up caddying for me.
Oh, nice.
So this guy
he does it all.
ended up golf. Yeah, golf courses. See what comes up. I think it's called, Club Carib. That one. Yeah, that one. So I went there to play golf. It is beautiful.
Oh, shit, yeah.
It is gorgeous. Chaps, you would love it.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand the money situation. I kind of fucked up. So this time I'm gonna be more prepared.
Okay.
I went there with my debit cards and stuff like that, which they accept Visa there.
Yes.
But I had the biggest problem with my bank was like, close my accounts. It's like fraud. It's like, no, it's not fraud. Trust me. Going to the ATMs out there was brutal. Didn't trust any of them. My card locked a bunch of times. My account got locked again. So this time I'm going to do the currency exchange before I get there.
Yep.
Or I guess sometimes you can just let the bank know, hey, I'm going abroad.
I did that.
You did?
It's still...
They still were like, there's no way Jersey Jerry's going abroad.
Yeah.
Well, your best option, and I always tell people, like, regardless, as long as you're financially responsible, credit card is always the way to go. Because even if you do the cash advance, which you'll have like a higher interest on that.
Yeah.
If something happens in Colombia, it's way easier to declare credit card fraud and get your money back from the merchant instead of debit. Once it's out of your system, it's basically gone.
Gotcha.
But if you're in a different country and you use primary credit cards, you're going to be fine there. And that's the same thing with basically anything in the United States too. Like you can battle a credit card charge way more than a debit card charge.
Yeah. My first like shocking experience was like we went there and I'm like, hey, how much money should I bring? We were there for like 7 or 8 days and she's like, oh, just bring like $1,000. I'm like, are you sure about that? I don't think that's pretty light, you know? She's like, no, you'll be good. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, we'll see. Go to dinner the first night and take her family out to dinner. They're drinking steaks, everything, seafood, appetizers, desserts. And I'm like, it seems like it's going to be pretty expensive. And we go, I get the bill. And on the bill, it's like 600 and something Colombian pesos. And I'm like, there goes my $1,000. Got to go back to the bank. What I didn't understand is like, it's so different. It was like $68 and something cents.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand. We get back to the place we're staying. I'm like, you know, I think this was fucked up. I think you told me bad information. Like, it's not cheap here. She's like, no, it's cheap. How much was dinner? I was like, I don't know, like $680. She's like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Like, she's like, trust me, it's not that. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go open up my Chase app.
Yeah.
It was like minus 68 something dollars. I'm like, this place is great.
Yeah.
This place is great.
I mean, that's a good tip. There is safe spots in Colombia. Was it price in Medellin too?
Yeah. No, yeah. It's a cheap spot. And I recall it was one of the cheapest abroad destinations to fly to from the U.S. as well. Like they, especially in the New York area, you can find cheap flights to Cartagena. I know guys that have just gone to Cartagena on a bachelor party, just like 10 friends all flying down for the weekend. I don't know if I would recommend it as a bachelor party spot because you could get into a lot of trouble. But I mean...
And Colombian prison is not one I want to fuck with.
No.
But I think, so it's the type of place where all the cops aren't trying to throw Americans in jail. They're all trying to get a bribe. And it's usually $400 to $500. If you're willing to risk losing $500, having to pay a bribe, then you'll be fine. They have no interest in actually locking you up. Unless they find you like selling pounds of drugs or something.
Yeah.
We went to an island too. We took a boat like, I don't know, like hour away somewhere. I forget what the island was, but it was beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, they have some islands right off the coast.
Yeah, it was great.
I went over COVID because it was one of the few spots you were allowed to travel to, and I went to the most densely populated island on Earth, Santa Cruz. Here's some stats on that I looked up. It's got 68,000 people per square kilometer, which makes it 4 times denser than Manhattan.
Wow.
Yeah, a very small island. I was able to swim around it, but I was surprised I was allowed on.
You swam around the whole thing?
I swam around the entire island.
That's pretty wild.
And this was over COVID, so I was like, there's only one hotel that will accept foreigners on it, and they surprisingly let us walk around. I had to wear my mask the whole time because they were freaking out about that. They're like, if one person gets COVID here, the whole island's fucked. But it looks crazy. We'll throw in some photos and videos into the podcast. But a fascinating spot. Everyone kind of like lives on top of each other, but everyone seemed happy. It seemed like a cool life.
You loved it too?
I did. I thought it was like Cartagena was. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't. That's the only place I've been.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Medellin, but very old school. A lot of architecture.
Colonial.
Yes, it was awesome. It was beautiful. people were super nice. I felt safe there. It's when we went to visit, I think, her dad's mom. We were in a really sketchy area, about maybe like 30 minutes away, 40 minutes away. It was definitely sketchy. A lot of homeless, couple abandoned buildings. I mean, you could just tell people are selling drugs on the street. They're trying to sell you drugs. But yeah, it was definitely not a nice part. So, but yeah, dude, I felt like it was pretty safe for the most part. I did feel like I was out of my element, though. There was nobody looked like me at all.
Yeah.
Nobody. I felt like I was the only tourist there.
Yeah.
You know, she speaks fluent Spanish. Our family does. I felt like I might have been the only person in Cartagena that was there to visit. It was really weird.
Yeah, I would say in some parts I was seeing a lot of tourists, but did you ever have those people on the street run up and start freestyle rapping for you?
Yeah, and then my girlfriend was like, "Hey, do not pay these people no mind. People are going to come up to you." It's in that like market. What's that?
I don't know what it's called, but
Have you been there though?
Yeah,
It's
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's a bunch of like street performers and stuff like that. People trying to sell you stuff. It's like, hey, just don't make eye contact. Just ignore them.
Same rules as Times Square.
Yeah, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah, I mean, at one point I just let them freestyle for me because I was filming at the time. Gave them a little tip. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
More of a Drake vibe or more of a Biggie vibe, you think?
definitely not Biggie because they were like very rapid fire fast. And
Okay.
Biggie's kind of like slow and smooth.
Okay, like Twista.
Yeah, and they're trying to freestyle. Like they're looking at what's written on your hat or your shirt, and they'll throw that into a rhyme.
Oh, shit.
Donnie.
Hey, Johnny the boss, hey, Johnny the
You
boss.
are strong, Johnny Bravo, ¿me entendiste? Yo no acabo, tengo el estilo bastante bacano, por eso es que vengo, no tengo con mis
te lo
hermanos.
digo.
Yo vuelvo tú a mi país, tú fucking Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, there's a dude on TikTok that I like that does that. It'll be like, give me, like, just
Say
six
a
people.
word. Yeah, it's like say it.
Harry
Yeah.
Mack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
He's like, give me 6 words and I'm going to put them in. And then he'll rap for like 45
I know.
seconds straight.
He's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one very unfortunate experience there. I guess it was kind of my fault. I've shared the story before, but I don't think I've shared the full details. So when I arrived, literally, I get in a cab at the airport, and the moment I get out of my cab to find my hotel, everyone's coming up to me like, cocaine, do you want cocaine? I'm just like, no. Like, I'm trying to check in my hostel. I check in, and then I walk back out to go and grab lunch, and still they're like the same people are just following me, cocaine. And I was like, I got to get into a restaurant just so like these guys stop hounding me.
Yeah.
And I go into the restaurant, I go into the second floor. The person at the front of the restaurant lets the people in and lets this one guy in, and then he comes and sits at my table upstairs,
Oh my
continues to try to sell me cocaine. And eventually I'm like, all right, maybe I just got to buy some cocaine because he'll stop like bothering me. And he kept on being like, oh, you can try it right here. You can try it right here first. And I was like, no. And he was trying to sell me like a lot. I was like, no, I just want like I'll take a tiny bit and then leave me alone. And so he finally did that and left. And then later, a couple hours later, I'm back at my hotel and I was like, all right, I might sample this. So I sampled it a little bit. It was not good at all. And then I was like, all right, I'm just going to go for a walk and see the sights. And I'm waiting in line to get into this bar. It's like Sunset Bar in the old city. Beautiful spot, watching the sunset. And as I'm in line, this, I think, 7-year-old kid comes up to me. First tries to sell me a necklace. And I'm like, no, thank you. Not trying to buy a necklace. And then he points at my nose and was like, cocaina. Like, I think he was pointing at a booger in my nose or something like that. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. And then he was like, you pay me $300 or I call the cops. And I was like, am I getting extorted by a 7-year-old right now?
Shakedown from a 7-year-old.
And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. And so I just like, I stayed in line and I noticed that guy, he's still staring at me. And he's like,
The 7-year-old?
yeah, the 7-year-old.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, he was 7 to 10.
Like how you switched to this guy. He's 7.
And then at one point he looks at me and he does this. He does a little,
Oh,
he's
shit.
like, you are fucked.
Oh God.
And at that point I realized that the stuff I had bought the guy is still on me. And I was like, oh shit, if like he's actually telling the truth and he's going to rat me out to cops, I got to get rid of this.
Yeah.
But he's staring at me. So if I like threw it in like a plant or something, he would go and find it.
Yeah.
So I take it out. It's a very small amount. And I pretend it's it's a piece of gum, and I put it in my mouth, and I just start chewing a plastic bag filled with cocaine. And I tried it, so I knew it was like really bad, like not like strong or anything.
Yeah.
And not pure. I don't know what was in it. So I just start chewing it like it's gum. And like the moment, like I'm still chewing at the time, sure enough, a cop comes up to me. He had ratted me out to the police.
Oh my God.
And the cop's like, come with me. Takes me into a public restroom and gives me the most intense search I have ever been subject to. Like checks all my pockets, takes out my wallet, checks every pocket of the wallet, makes me drop my pants, and then makes me drop my boxers. And like, I'm just cupping my dick and balls. I have to lift up my balls to show him I'm not hiding anything there, because that kid like told him I did cocaine. I think he was in cahoots with the person who sold it to me. So he was like, I know this guy has it. Searches everywhere.
Or in cahoots with the cop.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. And then he can't find it though, because I had just swallowed it. Like as the search is going on, I had finally swallowed
Pretty
it.
dangerous, Donnie.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. I mean,
But more dangerous than ending up in a Colombian jail.
I mean, it was a very small amount. I mean, obviously, do not do what Donnie does. I'm very ashamed of this story. I'm sure my parents are listening. That's why you don't buy drugs abroad or just buy drugs in general. But he was obviously very frustrated. He was like, God damn it, I can't find the blow on him anywhere. And then he took a photo of my passport and then was like, all right, you can go, but we're watching you. And then like,
I wouldn't think that they would care that much.
Yeah.
well, he was just pissed because if he had found some, he could have extorted me of like $400. Because I definitely would have paid him $400 to like avoid having to go to a Colombian police station.
I would bet that kid's involved. The kid and the cop
Oh,
together.
yeah.
1,000%.
Well,
I bet they run that all the time.
The kid, the cop, and the person that was trying to sell me the blow, because the fact that he was allowed in the restaurant makes me think that maybe he was an undercover cop. Because like most of the time, a restaurant is not going to allow a drug dealer inside to go and badger some of your customers. So I think it was because maybe he like flashed his badge to the lady up front and was like, no, I got to go in.
Imagine bachelor parties there. Jesus.
I know.
That's
That
gotta
sounds
be a
so. It's
disaster.
like
I think Feidelberg did that. He went down. I know he went to Medellin. I think it was over COVID as well.
They're also because like, I mean, a bachelor party would get out of hand. When you are walking the streets, if you're just a male alone,
Oh, yeah.
then there's woman of the night coming up to you
Right
every
up to you.
block. And there's actually one like square where it's like sex tourists that are down there just to find prostitutes, like all gather, and you just see a bunch of like foreign men and all these Colombian hookers just pairing up.
A bunch of my buddies with the Secret Service got, 2 of them got kicked out of the Secret Service, and 2 Marines got busted down a rank because whenever they went to Colombia with President Obama, one of the things that they did was that you're not supposed to do is go to a brothel. And they went in there, they did their business, and as soon as they came out, the Colombian police were there. And they all got like arrested and charged with going to it. And then it became like a national news story, like multiple Secret Service. You could probably pull it up. Multiple Secret Service agents arrested in Colombia for
It was a
prostitution.
huge deal. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and I had 2 of the guys were dog handlers that were down there, and I had trained both of them when I was at the dog
Holy
school,
shit.
so I knew who they were. And I called some of their like supervisor, and like, the guy's a fucking idiot, man. Like it's like the #1 rule of things you don't do.
I mean, it's also just a bad look for the U.S. But
Yeah.
I mean, when you work in Secret Service, do you work in shifts? So they were like, okay, we're all like off this shift. Let's
Yeah,
go
and so, like,
get into some trouble.
Dog handlers like me, we had it the easiest because I would go in, make sure that there was no bombs in the area, and then the actual Secret Service agents would stand at like the doors and entry points to make sure nobody goes in there. My responsibility was primarily to clear it out first and make sure it was clear, and then give up security. And then once the event starts, I'll come back, and if anybody runs away, I can release my dog on them.
Gotcha. Like, when did your wife's or your girlfriend's family move to America from Colombia?
So most of her family's actually still there.
All right.
I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think her dad and mom came to the U.S. I want to say he had to be in his like 20s, maybe. somewhere around there, I believe. I'm not positive.
Okay.
But yeah, and I think he worked at like a butcher place or a meat service delivery thing, and I forget what she worked as, but they met in Colombia, and then I feel like somehow, some way, they rekindled out here in America, which is pretty wild. I believe so. But yeah, so when we went back to see all of our family, it was surprising to see how much like actual family she has over there.
Oh yeah.
It's like aunts, cousins, grandmothers. It was just crazy. Like the amount of people we went to visit her dad's mom, and like whole other side of the family got to meet my son, which was cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so that was really cool.
So I assume your son is being raised bilingual?
Yeah, bilingual. Yes.
That's awesome. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like a great skill to have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we teach him, well, she does, Spanish.
Nice.
And the school he goes to does like, I don't know, like 1 or 2 times a month. It'll, help out in Spanish classes and stuff like that. But yeah, so he listens to both. He understands both. Maybe not fully yet, but he can count to like 20, 30 in Spanish, which is cool. ABCs in Spanish, which is great. So, yeah.
When you're that age, it's so much easier to learn a language than
That's what
when
they say.
you're our
I would
age.
love to learn it. I just feel like it's just, I don't know. I feel like I couldn't learn it. I don't know.
I couldn't. I had to get a waiver because I don't have a great memory, like short-term memory. It's gotten a lot better. But when I first went back to school after service, I tried to go, in a communication degree, you have to take a foreign language, And so I first tried Spanish, and then I went to French, and then I tried to Russian. I went to 3 different ones in like full semesters. And I finally had to go to like the dean of the school, and I was like, listen, if this is a requirement for graduation, I will never graduate. I was like, I have lived in multiple different countries. I can get by. And he was like, is this the only course that you need left? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, we'll just give it to you on pass, not like a grade, but we'll give it to you pass so you can get your degree. And I was like, fuck yes, thank you.
Hell yeah.
I love how you were having trouble learning Spanish. You're like, I'll take a Russian class. Like, I don't think that's going to be easier.
No, I didn't have any more options. I mean, I went. They didn't have Japanese at my school. I think I would have done okay because I was pretty fresh still back from Japan.
Yeah.
But there was no shot I was learning anything else, like zero.
It like sucks too. It's like you could be out dinner with her family, and it's like, are they talking about me? What are they saying?
You're just smiling,
Just smiling. Yeah.
They're like, this guy's a real piece of work. You're like, yeah.
It's like, what are they really saying?
Comprende. One of the other islands I went to, it wasn't even an island. It was a floating house, kind of hotel hostel that we took like an hour and a half boat to, and I got to spend a night there. It looked awesome. I think you wouldn't want to do more than 2 nights because you get a little bored.
I went fishing out there too.
How's that?
Crazy. So the seafood's great out there. So I was like, I want to go fishing. She's like, yeah, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'll go fishing. I was like, how do I go fishing here? So I was talking to the guy, George. I was like, I want to go fishing. Fish. He said, oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Next day comes along, picks me up. So let's go fishing. Like, perfect, let's do it. I'm thinking this guy's taking me out on some, like, awesome, boat and whatnot. Gonna head in the middle of the ocean and fish. Park at this beach.
Oh,
And I'm like, okay, this is different. He's like, yeah, come on. He's like, we're going to go on a boat. I'm like, okay, great. Where's the boat? We're walking. And he's like, I'll introduce you to these people. Now you got like people flocking to me at this point. Yeah. It's like, fish. Like, yeah, I want to go fishing. Let's go fishing. He's like, come on. I was like, how much? He's like, 50. I'm like, done. No problem. Easy. Whatever.
Yeah.
Take me fishing, bro. I want to catch some snapper or something.
Yeah.
We go. And I see the guy picking up the boat. This thing's beat to shit. I mean, this thing is a piece of shit. It's like, okay, I guess, yeah, let's do it. So George comes with me.
It's got like a weed whacker on the back for the propeller.
And he's like, cover your face. I'm like, cover my face? Why? Thing had no, like, beating sun. It's like 100 degrees. Covered my face with a T-shirt and whatnot, a bunch of sunblock. We get out. We're on the water. And like 20 minutes goes by, 30 minutes. And I'm not able to even see the beach no more. I'm like, yeah, we should not be out here with this little piece of shit boat. I was like, George, we good? He's like, yeah, we're good, Jerry, we're good. I was like, 5 minutes goes by. And I'm like, yo, George, bro. And the guy who took us had his face, I only could see his eyes, face wrapped up, didn't say a word the whole time we're going out. I'm like, this is how it ends. This is it. This is it. This guy, I'm dead, bro.
Especially since you're scared being in Colombia already.
100%. I'm by myself. I'm trying to text Genesis. I have no service. I'm like, because I'm so far out in this piece of shit boat with George and this masked up guy. I'm like, I'm dead. This guy's going to rob me. This guy's going to kill me. Just throw me over. Family's gone. Everything's dead. Finally, takes out a cinder block, throws it out. Good. Gives me a fishing pole. We're out there for maybe, I don't know, 2-3 hours. Didn't even get a bite. Not a bite. Nothing. Nothing.
What's a cinder block going to do that far out?
I don't know.
Cinder block anchor.
I don't know. It was like an actual cinder block. Just threw it over. He's like, good. All right, cool.
Damn, because I think there is some solid fish in there. You just got to know the spots.
Yeah, this guy did not know the spots. Just probably wanted to make a quick couple of dollars, and that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate that move, though.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like, oh, yeah, dude, come on out. I got you. And
Yeah.
you have no idea.
Yeah. I'll do it again, though, but I want to go on, like, an actual fishing
charter
trip.
trip?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
There's got to be.
I want to do it
things.
right. You know what I mean?
Is that what you're looking forward to the most? Because you're
Yes.
going back again. Is there anything that now you regret and you're like, I'm doing that?
I definitely want to golf again, which I did. I want to do like a cool fishing trip. Like I'll go with her dad and brother. I want to do that for sure. And I think I've done like everything for the most part. You know what I mean? We got to see the town, which was cool in Cartagena, and the architecture and stuff like that. We took some great pictures, so those are good memories to have. But yeah, golf for sure. I'm gonna do that again. I want to, and I want to do my big thing is like I want to catch some cool fish. You know what I mean? I want to do that. So this time around, I want to do it right. I just don't know, like what else. Like I don't do drugs, so I can't do Colombian coke. You know what I mean? Which
I wouldn't do it.
probably
even
wasn't
if you
even
could.
good, like you said.
Yeah.
So what am I really gonna do? You know?
Well, I mean, I would recommend visiting Medellin if you can swing it. It's only like an hour flight from Cartagena, and it's a cheap flight.
Here's the thing: my girl's family's from Cartagena,
yeah.
and I've noticed like you bring up different spots. It's like no, that's not. You want to be here. You want to be here. Like I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like I mentioned it before. It's like no, that's not like you want to stay over here. I'm like, all right. Is it like more like how it like it's different, right?
Very different. I loved it.
It's like a city, like
Yeah, I think it's probably their second or third largest city. It was a great change of pace from Cartagena because I was sweating balls there. It's like 100+ degrees in
Yes.
Cartagena. And then you get to Medellin. It's nestled in between all these mountains in a valley. And they call it the city of eternal spring because it's spring-like temps year round.
oh wow,
Beautiful weather. And it's actually safe now. Like Medellin used to be the most dangerous place in Colombia in the 80s because that's where Pablo was from. That's where he
Okay.
had all his mansions. But they have cleaned it up. And there's all these little villages in the surrounding mountains that now they have cable cars that are part of the city's public transportation.
okay,
shit.
cool.
So just like you would take a bus here or a subway, you can just hop on a cable car up to these villages. One of them is called Comuna 13, which was the most dangerous neighborhood in the most dangerous city in the world at one point. And there was all these wars between the gangs there and the police, like full-on wars. But somehow, starting in the 90s, they started to clean it up and turn it into this arts district. So now it's this like vibrant cultural center. You got people breakdancing, rapping, incredible street art, and it attracts tons of tourists. And it's kind of like now all of the money that they get from like selling their art, all the restaurants, all the street performers, it goes back into the community.
Well, that's cool.
And so like, yeah, a lot of the times those urban redevelopment projects like don't really work, or they work, but they just get rid of all the original.
Yeah, gentrify.
Yeah, they just gentrify it. This seems like it's working well because it attracts a bunch of tourists, and all the tourist money just goes to like help these people that used to be some of the poorest people in all of Medellin. But then they got connected to the main city via cable cars. They're getting an influx of dough, and it's fun for tourists too, because you get to see like all
And the regular people. It's not like, I mean, who doesn't want to not get shot?
Yeah.
You know, like that's a pretty good
Yes.
day.
You know what surprised me too? They got Uber. They got Uber in Cartagena.
Yeah, and it's
I didn't know-
super cheap.
Yeah, dirt cheap. It's like $3 for like
Surge
a 20-minute
pricing's
ride.
like $5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they also have like Uber Eats, but it's not called Uber Eats. It's called like Rappi or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I was there over COVID, so they actually went back into lockdown my last 3 days in the country. And you weren't even allowed to take a taxi unless you were going to the airport.
Wow.
You could like show your flight info. So I was using Rappi a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rappi was cool.
And the most spots I was staying at there were $40-50, and then one night we splurged. It was $150 a night, but this was like a penthouse apartment in one of the nicest buildings in Medellin. Just beautiful apartment with views of the whole city. I think the bathrooms like each had a hot tub.
That's cool.
So I mean, 150 in the U.S.
Yeah.
it's gonna get you like a Motel 6.
yeah,
How are the museums? Have you ever gone to any museums and places like that? I bet it would be just totally different types of vibes than what we have here, like art museums.
I just got like a free walking tour in Cartagena, because Cartagena's old. It was founded in 1533. I just looked that up. So that was
I thought you did that off the top of my head.
No, not off the top of my head.
That's why you went to Tufts.
But-
like, that's why.
Yeah, no, but I did like brush up on Colombia history a bit before I went. But I mean, that's before there was a single European in North America, really. Or I meant like in the United States.
Yeah.
And it had been founded like Sir Francis Drake, which sounds like he's a name from legend, but like he raided it once because it was one of the Spanish's like first forts in the Caribbean region, and it was definitely their like largest city on the South American mainland. And like Drake was sent by the British king, then he was like, just go and fuck shit up with the Spanish, like go make their lives hard. And so he I think successfully raided Cartagena at one point.
Shit.
wow.
Would you rather be Sir Francis Drake or would you rather be Ponce de Leon? Just name only, not actions.
Oh, well, I mean, Sir Francis Drake.
Okay. What about you, Jerry?
Probably Sir Francis Drake.
Oh, I'm going Ponce de
Also-
Leon. Like you come in, you're like, my name is Ponce de Leon. You're getting fucked that night.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know? Like you walk into
yeah.
Medellin, you're like, I'm Ponce de Leon. They're like, pull that thing out.
Yeah,
I'm getting
give
into
it
the
to
sucking. Yeah.
But if you're basing it off actions, I think Sir Francis Drake had like a pretty successful life. Ponce de Leon died searching for the Fountain of Youth in Florida. Right?
Found it. He's in St. Augustine, baby. I've drank from that thing probably 40 times.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I look so good. I'm 74.
Did Ponce de Leon like die tragically?
I'm not sure, but I do like St. Augustine, Florida, the oldest city in America.
Yeah.
That's where they say that is the eternal life, or
Yeah.
what is it called? The well of life,
The Fountain of Youth.
fountain of youth. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Fantastic fudge shop.
Ponce
right
de
there,
Leon
too.
was killed by an arrow, and Sir Francis Drake was. Oh, I think he was injured while attacking the port of Panama, and then Francis Drake died from dysentery.
Oh, yeah. Give me an arrow every day. of the week.
I'll take an arrow over dysentery. I don't
Shit your brains out.
know. That's literally just shitting yourself to death.
Disgusting. Oh.
I mean, you probably had to be very careful that you didn't drink any of the local water.
Yeah, so we didn't. We drank bottled water from like the
Yeah.
supermarkets and stuff.
Always do
Also,
that.
a thing that was very weird. My son still drinks milk, but we needed to buy milk from him. You know, he was how old at the time? Just a year, maybe something like that. Went to the grocery store. I'm going crazy. There's no milk in the refrigerators. I'm like, the fuck is going on? I'm talking to my girlfriend, just us in the grocery store. And, you know, she hasn't been back in years and stuff like that, so she probably don't remember, don't know. We're going up to people, leche. Oh, come here. It's just in an aisle. Just
Yeah.
It's not refrigerated or anything. Just
Yeah.
in a box. And
Yeah.
just milk. So yeah, this can't be that good.
Which I don't understand that. Like, I really don't. Like, I never looked into it. I could probably wrap my brain around it in like 15 minutes if I actually looked at it. But we have to keep ours refrigerated. It's not like you want like it's a desire or a preference,
Yeah.
it'll go bad sitting
Yeah.
on the counter. How the fuck do they do it?
I don't know.
Is it because it's sealed?
I have no idea.
Because ours is sealed too.
blew my mind. Blew my mind.
It's got to be some kind of additive. There has to be something
Yeah.
going on about. We got to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah,
milk
it was
situation.
crazy. And I'm like, we got back to the house, and my girlfriend was explaining to her parents, like, the milk was in an aisle. It wasn't in the fridge. Like, yeah, it's how it is. Like,
Yeah, it
that's-
I mean, because I would love to move the milk. It takes up a good bit of room.
it does.
Throw that shit in the pantry.
Yeah.
It says dairy products that have been heat sterilized and wrapped in sterile packaging do not require refrigeration, as the sterilization prevents the milk from spoiling.
Dude, do that. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
The boxes are better than plastic. Like
Yeah.
all of that.
But I'm not really a fan of warm milk or lukewarm milk.
Yeah,
that
that's
shit
like
over
room
ice.
temperature milk, and I'm not.
But they don't
like it
even use
chilled.
ice really in
No.
Colombia, right?
No, not
So you
really.
have your warm ass milk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is really
Well, I guess
crazy.
they throw that into the refrigerator so it will get cold.
Also, I didn't know if you have this experience, but I think they're like a different breed over there. Like, they don't use much AC. Like, they have air conditioners,
Built different.
but they just don't use them, you know? So I don't know. I was like, telling my girlfriend, like, we were at her grandmother's house one night, and I'm like, hey, it's hot. She's like, yeah, it's okay. It's like fine. I'm like, no. It's I'm sweating. It's hot.
Can't sleep like this.
Can't
damn it.
sleep. It's like just normal to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have just one little stand-up fan with air conditions. They don't even use them. It's like they just rather just use the fan. And I'm like, this is crazy. Another cool thing was her grandmother, I guess, is like considered like wealthy enough to have like an actual maid
Yep.
who like does everything.
Yeah.
Like cooks laundry, folds clothes, goes grocery shopping. Like her grandmother doesn't have to do anything, so the maid does everything. And it was just really interesting to see. Like we would like, just for instance, my fishing trip. Like I went fishing, came back to the house. I get back in. It's like the maid is like, I'll have your dinner done in a couple minutes. You know,
Dude.
so, yeah, this is the life. You know, and they're like dirt cheap, dude.
That's the life. When I lived in China, I had a maid almost
Really?
my whole time out there. She was $5 an hour, and I had a couple roommates. So we would split the $5 an hour fee. And I still remember one time I threw a party at my spot, and yeah, it was jam-packed full of people. I black out. I wake up the next morning around noon. I walk out of my bedroom. The apartment is spotless, and the maid had already made lunch. At that point, I was like, dude, this is...
It's the life.
This is a fake life.
Yeah.
Like I'm living I'm going to have a rude awakening when I eventually move back to the US.
I was
What
debating buying property out there.
That's what I was guess. What's real estate look like? Because
I think it's very cheap.
I mean,
I
if
was
you
looking up.
Airbnb it, and then
Dude,
you have
yes.
that like during the summer or
Dude,
something.
I would like share a spot with you.
Would
down
you
there.
Would you want to invest,
Yeah.
Donnie? Seriously,
I
though.
don't like how I immediately got cut out of the conversation.
Oh,
just
yes.
I
You
don't
can be an
know,
investor.
like,
Yes.
I'm sitting here I just said
You're
real
not
estate.
giving me Colombia vibes though.
You're the one who brought
what do
it
you
up.
mean? I would
you
do
been?
Colombia. No, I haven't been, but I'd
Gotta go.
Yeah, that's way better than places I've been.
What's the worst place you think you've been?
Fallujah.
Worst ever.
Yeah, Fallujah
Not
by
even
far.
close.
Yeah, I mean, everything was bombed. Like people were shooting at you all the time. It sucked.
Yeah, that's rough. Was the food good?
Now the MREs aren't bad.
Yeah.
Like but I never got
Yeah,
to
you
eat.
weren't really trying the local food.
No,
in
like I
Fallujah.
had the bread, and I had the bread cooked over
Oh, it's
cow
great.
shit.
Oh,
Wait.
Fantastic.
Wait. What? Say that again.
Yeah, because cow shit's a great charcoal. So because it's so hot there, they'll take cow shit or some kind of cow shit, and they put it in the sun, directly in the sun, and it'll bake it. And that will have embers that burn pretty low and slow. So you can bake bread on it. Like you don't put it in a pan, you put the bread directly on the shit.
Oh, you put it directly on the shit?
Oh yeah.
I thought
That's how
there
you
was
get
gonna
the
be
char,
like a few
baby.
inches of separation.
No, it's directly on it. But because it's been sitting out in the sun so long, like all the bacteria and shit is
We
gone.
should look at real estate right now. There.
So we should actually. 2 Americans that I was hanging out with down there, they were from Rochester, New York. They moved to Colombia, and their full-time job is just flipping properties. So they just invest in properties, buy it, maybe fix it up a little bit, and then resell it. When I went over COVID, he was like, you can get a really nice apartment down in Medellin for $60,000, where, and even if like we like shared that and then we each have a spot, down there. If I bought a spot in Colombia, I'd want it to be on Lake Guatape, which you may have seen photos of it. It's that lake, and there's this gigantic rock sticking out of it. Search up Guatape, Guatape.
Oh my God. I can't even see the
Look at that rock.
Holy shit.
And that's just a giant staircase that goes up the rock. Me and Chef Donnie climbed up it.
You see that giant fucking rock behind me? Yeah. We're climbing that today.
Oh,
remember-
did you?
Yeah.
How many steps is it?
It's a lot of steps, but it's probably like a half hour just walking directly
Okay,
up.
that's not bad.
We were
Wow.
winded. Not too bad, honestly. I mean, not as bad as I thought. I still remember that's where I saw the largest ass in my life.
That place looks fake.
It looks fake. And then me and Chef Donnie afterwards, we kind of pulled a Jersey Jerry, just walked to the lakefront, and we were just like, boat. Does anyone have a boat? And we found a guy who just took us for a cruise around the lake for a couple hours. And we were getting he would stop, or we could just jump off and go for a swim. And in that moment, I was like, this is paradise. I you can look up the video. I'm like, I'm having my bachelor party here, 100%. If I ever have the balls to get married, bachelor party at Lake Guatape. I did not have my bachelor party there.
This is cheap, Donnie.
And I was like, I'm buying a place on this lake. It looks like paradise.
You know what it looks like to me? Remember when Wendy and everybody fly to Neverland in Hook? When they and they have like the mermaids and shit going in there, and they jump off the little platform. That's what that looks like. It looks like Neverland.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
It's just the huge lake with all these islands there. Pablo Escobar used to have a mansion on the shores there.
That's beautiful.
Which they turned one of Pablo's mansions into a paintball course.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they finally shut it down. But yeah, for a while you could just go and play paintball in one of his old estates.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Do you think you can make a lot of money with the Airbnb thing?
I think
I think using our platform here, if they know this property is Wonton Don Jersey Jerry approved, we could have that booked.
what the fuck?
Oh shit! Well, Chaps.
He's in.
Visit Colombia and then come talk to me, okay?
I think Chaps might like it.
Chaps, you're in.
Okay, thank you.
Shake my hand.
Let's go.
All right.
Appreciate it. I mean, you have
Chaps
a podcast
approved.
with me.
Chaps
Jerry's here
approved.
for one episode.
Well, Jerry has family that live down in Colombia. But yeah, no.
I would
okay.
like
All
to
right,
do
Chaps,
like a mansion.
You're in
Because now we're only talking 20 grand each.
Yeah, and that could be, and obviously we would probably want to use it ourselves, but we could map that out. Be like,
Oh, that'd be
if,
easy,
If
yeah.
we did it 3 ways, and you're like, hey, I would like to use it, these 3 weeks, this month
Yeah,
of the
that'd be
year.
easy.
Chaps is like, I would like to have access to it this
Thank
month
you
of
for
the year.
including me.
Yeah,
that'd be
I
easy.
could call a month, and then if there are times that 2 of us were down there at the same time, it's not a big
Be
deal.
cool, yeah.
This could turn into a business.
Yeah.
Because this is a business I've been thinking about for a long time. Is that if I had 3 of these properties in foreign countries, because a lot of stoolies are like, I would love to go to a foreign country, but I don't really know where would I stay,
Yeah.
how would I navigate it. We would choose it. We would choose a spot, and then we would make some connections in the local community. So then it's like, hey, when you come and stay at our spot, if you're trying to rent a boat, talk to this guy that we know. If you're trying to find some great food, these are the 6 restaurants you got to go to.
Oh, yeah.
These bars are approved. These clubs are approved.
You have the list.
Tell you what, you
Jerry's
could
guys.
drop a pin on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Start interviewing people who've been there for 30, 40, 50, 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we could have 1 week a year where it's if you book it for that week, you got to pay more, but one of us is also going to be down there.
Love that.
Yeah, because people would pay a premium for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very serious about it. I'll do some research on my own, but I would love to make that happen.
Dude,
You know what we should do? We should have one of the streams where each of us put in a grand whatever and have the odds enough for us to end up with the 60 grand to buy a house in Medellin.
So
Like that?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, so
it'd be
all
awesome, right?
bet on one game, and then if we win, the winnings all go
Yeah.
towards the property.
love
Right.
that.
I like that.
Like if we get one of us gets a bonus bet of a couple grand or something,
Yeah.
we should do that.
100%.
And that is, and we could watch it together. That's the
100%.
Medellin house
I
stream.
love that.
I think it'd be very similar to what Riggs has done with
Yeah.
the Riggs Cottage.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's a lot harder to get a property on Pinehurst.
Yeah.
But getting a just a property.
What do you think?
Somewhere
Like
abroad.
initial investment, you would say for like what are you thinking? Like a 3-4 bedroom, 3-bedroom?
Yeah, I think we would probably want at least a 3-bedroom. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if we each
Because
invested
Cartagena was like
30K,
different
we'd be
to
able-
me. Like they were like all apartments. It was weird how it like was set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I seen houses, but I didn't see many houses. I just seen so many apartments, but people own the apartment, which is different. I guess like a condo.
Honestly, this entire podcast has been a glowing recommendation of Colombia.
Yeah.
Like we're at the end. We're like, should we
except for-
buy real estate there? Should we move there?
Yeah.
Should we be best friends in this house forever?
Yes.
And you could go and scout all the surrounding golf courses. So like,
There's
the
not
Stewies
many.
would-
There's not many though over there.
There isn't.
In Medellin?
Well, at least in Cartagena,
Oh.
there's only a couple.
Well, hey, I can reach out to those American bros from Rochester that were doing that as a full-time job.
What
Yeah.
are they doing?
They were doing that in the Medellin area, just flipping properties.
Really?
Yeah, they were investing in properties and making a lot of money. And to like as an American to buy a property in Colombia, it's not hard. You don't have to like jump through all these hoops and stuff.
yeah.
You can just be like, boom, here's my investment. In some countries, they make it hard. If you're an
Yeah.
American, you gotta
I'd just
like
be scared. Like the investment. I just feel like we wouldn't hire like good contractors. I don't know.
Yeah. The only thing I'd be scared about is I remember like a week after I left Colombia, some big protests flared up. I think they were COVID related, but and they got pretty bad. So it's like if you buy a place in Colombia right now, it's a safe spot to travel to. But like say if there's a coup down the line, then it becomes like very unsafe. You're like, oh shit, it's gonna be hard to convince people to go.
Yeah.
I always like to hear about food. You're putting your perfect Colombian meal together.
Ooh.
What's on the plate?
I like the Colombian sausage a lot. I do. I like the fried red snapper.
Okay.
It's really good. Also, just traditional rice and beans. For dessert, I'd probably go flan. I'm a big
Okay.
fan of flan.
Are you? I wouldn't
Yeah,
have
it's
pegged
good
you as a
stuff.
flan
One of
guy.
my favorite desserts ever.
Oh, how do you feel about key lime?
I like key lime pie.
Yeah.
I do.
Coconut cream?
What's coconut cream?
Ah, damn. We're going to have that together.
I never had that.
Me and you, coconut cream cake at our place in Medellin.
I love
First
that.
night. It'll be great.
What is it?
Watch a war
is
movie
it just
together.
what it is? Coconut cream?
Yeah, it's like coconut cream. Yeah.
Is it in a bowl?
It's kind of like a creamy coconut, little bit of cheesecake, like kind of flan.
Okay.
Like consistent.
I think flan is slept on.
I don't.
I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not a flan guy. Creme brulee, though. I'm a creme brulee guy.
Creme brulee is good.
What's the difference?
Flan?
What's the between flan and creme brulee?
Oh, the biggest difference is flan is bad and and creme brulee is good. But for real, it doesn't have the caramelized top on it. Instead, it's like a squishy top a little bit.
Love the caramelized top.
Yeah, the caramelized, and it's nice when a good one where you can hit the spoon and it cracks.
Cracks. Yeah, I've seen those videos.
Yeah.
Flan's like a caramel jello kind of.
I feel like it.
Yeah.
To me, it just looks unappetizing.
It does. That I will say, it looks very unappetizing.
That's why a lot of times, like if you have like a red wine risotto, I'm out because it looks like puke. Even though I love the taste, it's
Yeah.
the visual of it for
Yeah.
me.
My favorite Colombian food is probably the chicharrones.
Oh, very
Have you ever
good.
have those?
Yes.
Those like
yeah,
pork strips, and they'll
so good.
It's kind of like bacon on steroids, and they'll serve that with eggs in the morning. Sometimes.
Chicharrones.
Squirt some
in
lime on it.
Mexico, that's pork rinds. Is that essentially what it is?
Yeah, well, these aren't the like pork rind variety. These have a lot of meat on them. So yeah, it is like fried like pork skin, but it's the pork skin with a lot of meat on it too.
Oh,
It's not just
I
the rinds.
like that because I'm not typically a pork rinds guy.
Yeah,
I feel like
you
it destroys the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
it does. No, these are very like chewy and tender too.
I went
Oh,
to a
nice.
little like restaurant, just me by myself. Just walked out. I was a little hungry one day, and I think they went somewhere. I forget where they went, but I walked like a block and went to this like restaurant, jam packed at lunchtime. Just a hole in the wall place. I don't think it was barely even a sign up, and it was just wide open, no doors, no windows, nothing. Sweating, and I ordered a plate of that, Donnie.
Yeah.
I got a steak, fried egg, rice, beans, and like a Coca-Cola was like $8.
let's go.
I have heard that all beef there is basically delicious.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's very good. The cheeseburger was great there. that I had.
Picanha, right?
That's
the picanha
really
cut.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
kind of like the tri-tip here.
Yeah.
A little bit
I
different.
enjoyed their
but
meat
close.
there. No Diddy, but I enjoyed it.
Enjoy their meat.
They had great meat.
Yeah.
Really good.
I'd take a look.
Did you ever see people playing the sport of, what's it called again? It's called Tejo.
What is it?
It's kind of like cornhole mixed with gunpowder.
Wait, what?
So, Goldfinger.
Sounds dangerous.
It's a little dangerous. It's Tejo, and if you go on YouTube, let's bring up a video of people playing. So you got to throw this really heavy thing. Mm-hmm. Good. It's far, and there's these little packets of gunpowder in the middle of a ring, and if you get a direct hit on the gunpowder,
does.
Oh my God,
it
that looks so
explodes
fun.
like that.
That's pretty cool.
But if you just hit like so there's a little circle in there. If you just throw it, and it's kind of like horseshoes, where if your little whatever you're throwing is touching the ring, you get a point. But then if you get it inside, you get 2 points. But if you actually hit one of those packets and it explodes, then that's 3 points.
Wow.
How many's
I
in
think
there?
I'm explaining it right.
Do they have a bunch in there?
I think when I was playing, there was just kind of like one in the middle.
Oh, so that's probably the extra prize.
Yeah, I actually filmed a video playing it as well that you could bring up. And I remember I was just throwing it for like 45 minutes, being like, all right, I got to get a shot at me exploding one of these things.
Yeah.
No, I never seen that.
Yeah, I think it's only played in certain parts of the country. Like, I think it's more popular in Bogota.
The capital? Is that the capital?
That's the capital. And the crazy thing about Bogota, it's high up in the mountains that it actually gets pretty cold there.
Really?
Yeah, when you think of Colombia, you think super tropical.
Yeah.
But if you went to Bogota now, it's probably pretty chilly.
Wow. Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That looks like an awesome game.
Yeah.
I don't think you could get the insurance here to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to play it inside. but-
That's 10,000 times better than axe throwing.
Oh, yeah. I don't really fuck with axe throwing.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
It's boring until, like, you just throw it and then it bounces off the wall. And then all of a sudden you got to dodge an axe,
Yeah.
which is not fun either.
No.
Has happened every time I've gone.
Really?
Yeah, where
I've
it's-
never been.
You're like,
I
gotta
never-
get out of the way.
Another surprising thing was that the cars are so shitty over there.
Oh, that's a very interesting cultural fact.
Yeah, they were just like,
Colombia's got shitty cars.
everybody has like a rundown car.
Yeah, or maybe they have hand-me-downs from
Maybe.
us. Maybe all of our used cars eventually end up
Possibly.
in Colombia.
That's how it was in Okinawa.
Yeah.
They didn't have any cars that weren't from mainland Japan, and they were all like 10 years old.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Then once they get used up in mainland, they go down to Okinawa.
Yeah.
Shit, wow.
I bet the import, because I don't know if there is a single Colombian automaker,
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah.
so that like, import prices
Yeah.
has to be crazy.
Yeah.
Cuba has really cool cars.
Very much so.
Really?
Yeah, because they have all of our like old style cars.
It's like if you look on the streets of Havana, it's like 55 Chevys, like
No
old
way.
Thunderbirds,
Still?
and they look decent. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all there's not new cars at all in Cuba. Everything is older.
That's pretty cool.
And they say it's pretty simple because they're easy to fix.
Maintain, fix,
Yeah,
yeah.
like the parts aren't computers like they
Yeah.
are now.
I would say Colombia was the first place I realized how the rest of South America looks at Venezuelans. Like
Colombians hate Venezuelans.
Yeah,
they hate them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they're kind of like, I would say it's even worse than how some Americans think of Mexicans here. But they do, like, I guess Venezuelans are all fleeing their own country because it's a shit show right now. And they're just, they're on the streets, they're causing problems. And so, like, yeah, I noticed a lot of anti-Venezuelan sentiment when I was in Colombia.
It sucks because the Venezuelan people are nice and their government is just so fucked. Like they just had a coup. Like the dude lost like by 30% or something like that, and they swore him back in as the president of the country.
Crazy.
Nuts.
Damn. He lost by 30%?
He lost.
No?
He got his ass whooped, and they were
Okay.
like, "Actually, no, it was not real. Like
Yeah.
it was hacked and all that shit." And he got sworn in again.
That's fucked up.
Speaking of coups. I was in Colombia on January 6th.
Oh,
But what's that day? Because it was also a holiday in Colombia, and it's a Catholic holiday every January 6th. It's called, I assumed maybe you would know.
I don't know shit
It
about
officially like marks the end of the Christmas holiday. It's called,
Three Kings Day.
Three Kings Day, but there's, also called
Put Colombia.
the Epiphany.
Okay.
You being a religious guy, I thought you would have heard of the Epiphany before. So that's always on January 6th.
Wow.
And it was probably one of the highlights of my time there because we went to this friend's house. One of the dudes from Rochester, he had a Colombian friend, and he brought us to his house in the hills outside of Medellin. And kites, I guess, are really huge, especially on January 6th. So
I've heard. Don't they call it the city of kites?
I don't know. Let's see if that's like a thing that they usually do. But so we were on this steep hill, and after a full day of feasting and drinking, we just like launched these gigantic kites off the mountain. I think they were, let's see. Yeah, I think it's I think it has something to do with the holiday. And like one of the kites we launched, it like almost just went, it got caught by some wind and just almost went flying directly into a tree and crashed. But then by the grace of God, like it looked like it had collapsed, and then all of a sudden we just see it rise above.
Wow.
And yeah, it was just
On
fun.
a religious holiday, no less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Resurrected.
Jerry, would you describe yourself as a kite guy, you think?
No.
I didn't think I was a kite guy. 'Cause
I could be, probably.
I hadn't played with them in so long.
I've never
love
played
kites.
with one.
Yeah. Do you ever do the two-handle one?
Never. I never even played with a kite.
You'd love doing tricks on kites.
Yeah?
Guaranteed.
I gotta try it. Where do you try? Just like an open field
Yeah, we tried in the parking lot probably.
on a windy day. Yeah.
Do a little winter
Shit.
kiting. I mean, Chicago's got to be fantastic kite city.
Yeah.
Very windy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Sam, search the video. It's how the rich and rural live in Colombia. And then if you search Wonton Don, it'll probably come up. Yeah, it's that one. If you go to 1142, I haven't seen this video in so long. I want to see how large this kite was because in my memory it was huge. Oh yeah, so it was one of those.
What's the fire for?
It was like.
Oh yeah, a lantern. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that even a kite, or that's like a flying lantern?
As a kite purist, I'm not going to classify
Yeah.
that as
Okay.
kite.
So there were lanterns. And this is that's why we were like, holy shit, it's gonna go flying into the house and like set the house on fire.
That's super. I mean,
Does it come back to you? Is this the
no,
question?
you just
Okay.
send it off. And then one more, and like I was like, holy shit, I'm just like visiting these guys for the first time, and like I almost set their house on fire.
yeah.
Were you ever scared out there, Donnie?
No, these people were super friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you
And-
just meet up with some of these people like that? It feels like
I think I had announced that I was going to Colombia to film a series, and a stoolie reached out, and he was like, hey, I'm from the U.S., but I've been living in Colombia the last few years. So I met up with him, and then he had a local Colombian friend, and that's whose
Okay.
house we went to. But
gotcha.
yeah, this was see, this is like a gigantic, like he could easily just turn into a flaming ball of fire.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I guess we thought it was going to torch the tree.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
That would have been bad. Oh yeah, because I had already broken their tree.
Oh, gosh.
Shit! So it hits the tree, but then it like deflects off the tree.
I mean, if that goes the other way,
Yeah,
that
it's-
tree is smoke.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
But boom! It somehow
Oh,
magically
yeah.
clears the tree.
Wow.
So Jerry, would you say you've caught the traveling bug? I guess if you could go one other place abroad, either on a work trip with some friends or coworkers, or just with your girlfriend.
Out of the U.S.?
Yeah.
So I'm not the biggest traveler, but I do enjoy it maybe like once a year. I've never been to like Mexico, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. I'd like to visit one of those.
Yeah.
But I thought Colombia was great. I'm excited to go back. But yeah, maybe one of those. You know what would be cool, honestly? Japan. That might be cool.
Japan would be cool.
Yeah,
and
Tokyo.
I know a lot of people play golf in Japan, and I'm sure they take pristine care of their courses.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do.
At nice courses, you got to set aside the whole ass day, though.
Really?
Like when you go, because it's designed to take like 8 or 9 hours to play around.
Really?
There. So you go in, they play slow as shit because it's expensive and getting on a course is hard. So once you're there, it's going to be like a full day type of experience. So you'll go play 9 and then you go to the clubhouse. You could go into like a hot tub. You could have like a full ass steak dinner. You could have wine and shit like that, and then kind of relax for a minute. Go hit balls again at the driving range, and then go out and play your other 9.
Cool.
It's like a full ass day. It's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that resort was, and I didn't get the full experience, but that's kind of how that golf course was in Colombia, Carabana.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was like an actual like resort,
That's so sick.
which was really cool. So yeah, maybe this time around I'll do it.
I only played golf once or twice in China, but a funny thing about golf over there is that you have to have a caddy, and all of the caddies are 40-year-old women.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it like they have a push cart or they're lugging?
If you're on a fancy course, they will actually have a push cart or their own actual cart. If it's a less fancy course, they'll just be lugging them. But you can also
Beast mode.
you can also ask them for tips, or at least I was asking mine for tips, and she was helpful.
That's
although
awesome.
there was a little bit of a language barrier. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jerry. Well, thanks so much for coming on, dude. We
blast.
appreciate it.
Loved it.
Yeah, well, next time you come back, we'll have to have you on, see if it was better, see the fishing trip.
Yeah, April. We'll do one in April.
Yeah,
Sweet.
and then in April, I'll have like a list of potential investment properties.
I love
Oh,
that. We
yeah.
should do that. We should like, go
Yeah.
through them.
Yes.
Again, you
exactly.
just looked at Jerry, but that's fine.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, I think we might have to like change these seats a little bit because like I can either like look straight, look
Yeah.
at you, but there's
Yeah.
no way for us to kind of like all
Yeah.
look at you. But yeah, Chaps, you are in.
We're in.
on,
Let's
uh,
do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Vacation
Thanks, Jerry.
properties.
Appreciate you, man.
Drop a Pin is brought to you by DraftKings. This ain't the little itty bitty teeny tiny bowl. This is the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59.
And you know how we know that it's the official betting partner?
Because we can say the word Super Bowl.
That's exactly right. We don't have to say superb owl or anything like that. We could say Super Bowl. We're betting
Yeah.
on the Super Bowl.
In previous years, we could only say the big game or something
Yeah.
like that. Scoring touchdowns is key to hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like this player is going to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. And once you download the app, you can use code DROP. That's code DROP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. I am just praying that the Chiefs do not win because every time they win a Super Bowl, the Pats dynasty becomes a little less impressive.
Yeah, he's getting close. I didn't think anybody would ever even remotely be close to Brady. Mm-hmm. Mahomes at 4 already that'd be tough.
Yes.
Do you have any bets lined up that you're going to make? Money line, I guess, Philly?
Moneyline Philly. I like that. But no, I would actually like to get in on some touchdown bets.
I'm going to do Saquon Barkley, 2 touchdowns, and then I'm going to do Saquon Barkley MVP.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you placed that bet last game, would have been a winner.
I almost did. That's why I'm
Yeah.
doing it this week.
Yeah, so, and I guess if the Chiefs do win, it will be the first ever three-peat in the history of
Yep.
the NFL?
Yeah.
Wow. All right,
Wait,
so,
did the Cowboys do it? No, I don't think so.
yeah, I thought
The 90s Cowboys do it?
I thought I heard one of the announcers say that they have a chance for the first ever three-peat.
That's right, because they can't say it because Pat Riley has it trademarked.
He has that word trademarked?
Yeah, because the Lakers did it, and he came up with the word three-peat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, I've invented words, but I have not trademarked them. Anyways, yeah. Download DraftKings Sportsbook and use code DROP. That's code DROP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Let's get back to the pod. Shout out Jerry for coming on the pod. We'll definitely have him back on in April, where we'll be finding a rental property. I
All
saw,
three of us.
I talked to him after the following day after we recorded that, and he was like, dude, I just found this mansion down in Colombia for like $400,000.
I'm not into $400,000.
Well, the thing is,
That's a little heavy.
but it depends how many people are in on it, I guess.
I mean, even it's 3.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Wonton Don's finances look like, but your boys don't look like I could
Okay,
throw
well,
around 125K.
He said it was a 5-bedroom mansion that he found for $400,000. So maybe if Big Cat was one of those 5 people,
Yeah.
and he could cover half.
Yeah,
of it.
why don't we do that? Yeah.
Except something tells me Big Cat's gonna be like, no, I do not need a vacation home in Colombia.
We can get Big Cat throw in like 450 grand, and then we can all do 20.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. And
Yep,
then own it equally,
Yeah, for sure.
unless he's being selfish.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk Colombia in general.
Okay.
A deep dive. I know. What have you been able to find out about it?
I want to start with Cano Cristialis. That is called the River of 5 Colors. So we're pulling it up now on the YouTube, and it is unbelievable. It's called the River of 5 Colors. Yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
Isn't that incredible? So if you're listening on the audio version, this river has like a bright fuchsia. It has a amber looking yellow.
What the hell is fuchsia?
Fuchsia?
Yeah.
Fuchsia? It's like a pinkish purple combined.
Okay.
And it has like a nice lime green. There's also like an amber there, and there's like a turquoise, almost like North Carolina blue color, all in like what looks like a lagoon or a billabong. It's beautiful.
Now, is billabong another word for lagoon?
No, but there is billabongs in it. Like billabong is like a little bit larger than, it's like a really short pond that are like decently small. Okay. So you see all those little on the bottom left, Sam, it looks like little indentations. All those little indentations are billabongs.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I just knew the surfing brand called Billabong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
first time I ever got my dick sucked. I was wearing Billabong.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say you were in a Billabong.
No,
just getting your dick sucked.
Yeah, just wearing board shorts. Yeah.
First time I got a blowjob, I was in a puddle.
I remember everything about that day.
Wow.
Yeah, shout out Michelle Ryan.
How can I not remember where I was the first time I got a blowjob? I feel like that should be like a core memory.
Yeah, you need to sit around and think about that.
Yeah.
Reminisce on your own life.
Yep. Yeah, Colombia's got a lot of natural beauty. As I was saying earlier in the pod, I think Medellin might have the most perfect climate on the planet.
Didn't you say it was eternally spring?
Eternally spring.
Mm-hmm.
Cartagena, though, I don't think I'd want to buy a rental property there because like half the year it is hot as balls. So hot. And then Bogota gets a little too cold. That's why I feel like we got to go somewhere near Medellin.
Yeah. Have you heard of the El Dorado myth?
I mean, that was the city of gold.
Yes.
Right? And so they probably sent a bunch of expeditions trying to find it.
A ton of expeditions to go find it.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things is that their tribal leaders, they were so entrenched in this gold. Like that's where, and they didn't even really know how valuable it was. It was just something that was in the area that they liked, and it was and some people say it might be a myth, like that this place didn't really exist.
Yeah.
But their chiefs would cover themselves in gold dust once they got like elected as chief. Then they would go out into the middle of one of the lakes there. Let me see if I have what it's called. Lake Guatavita. And they would take big chunks of gold. They would take rubies and emeralds and toss them into the water just to get rid of them. And when the Spanish people came and they were trying to like check out everything that they were doing, all their customs, they saw all the gold and emeralds and they were like, oh shit, they view this as trash. Like they don't even care.
Yeah.
So they were like digging up and they just said it was cool. And then they went back and they had all this gold.
One thing the Spanish used to tell the natives in Central and South America is that they had a disease a disease of the heart, and if they didn't get gold, they'd die. And it's like that, and then boom, like they're all bringing them gold.
That's kind of like the fantasy books I read with Brandon Sanderson.
Okay.
If you don't eat like copper, you're dead.
All right.
It's pretty similar. Football, obviously, soccer is the main obsession there. It's so huge. And in fact, one of their biggest national tragedies happened in 1994 when Andres Escobar, a Colombian player, was killed after he had an own goal in the World Cup.
Oh, shit.
They were in what I believe was the finals or the semifinals, and
Yep.
it was around the 85th minute, 88 minutes, something like that. So getting really close to the end, own goal. He was killed afterwards.
Yeah, so was he like leaving the game and someone shot him, or was this a week later someone came to his house and shot him?
Yeah, it was pretty close after the game ended. I don't know if he was just in the street or whatever, but it was within like 2 weeks of that happening, and he was killed.
Dude, there are some college football fanatics that like when a college kicker just misses like a huge field goal, that I get worried about their safety. Because there
Yeah.
are some like insane college football fans out there.
Like that nerdy looking kid that was the kicker at Georgia a couple years
Yeah.
ago that wore like the glasses from the Kid on Sandlot.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I always thought that guy was fucked if he missed a kick.
Yeah, I think that's like the
Shoved
worst
in a
position
locker.
you can be in sports, because at least when you're playing in the NFL and if you miss a big field goal, you're like, all right, I'm still getting paid millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But in college, you're just doing it for the love of the game, and then like it could like one missed kick could kind of ruin your life for at least like 5 years.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so ballsy for that Commanders kicker to have like severe OCD. Like, did you see that
Oh,
clip where he's like
yeah,
fixing
yeah.
his hair?
Yep, yeah.
Like, you already have a ton of pressure kicking 55-yard field goals where everybody knows that you're kind of a dork and you're only on the team because you can kick.
Yeah.
And then you fuck it up and cost your team. Like, Joe Burrow hates their kicker. Like, that'd be terrible. And then you have OCD on top of that, like severe OCD.
Yeah, I wouldn't handle that well.
And not OCD like every white girl says that they have, like actual OCD.
Yeah.
They had huge, like you said that you went to Pablo Escobar's The Tour.
Yeah, I did a full Pablo Escobar tour there, and my tour guide was on the police task force that was assigned to hunt down Pablo. And he showed me a photo, and it was about 35 people. And he was like, 30 of these people were all killed during the hunt for Pablo. Because there was a saying, lead or diamonds or something like that.
Yeah, the phrase was silver or lead.
Silver or lead.
Yeah, so you either got riches from Escobar or you got murdered.
Yeah, so if you were a cop, you either became a dirty cop because you were paid off, or if you actually stayed on the straight and narrow, you'd eventually get killed.
If you weren't killing people and you're just doing some drug goofing, I wouldn't care if I was a cop. I'd be like, go on, do your thing.
Yeah, well, Pablo was killing a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
why it
people.
would be a little bit different there. And they were killing a lot because at the time when he was there, Medellin was the most dangerous city in the world.
Yeah.
Like the murder rate was so high, like way higher than any other place.
Yeah. That must have been like so traumatic for that cop. Just like all your friends are slowly getting picked off.
But that's what happens when 80% of the entire world's cocaine
Yeah.
came from Escobar. Like when they found him and like eventually busted up that cartel, they found, I looked, $2.5 billion in cash.
Jeez.
And it was just in like factories stacked up on like pallets that you'd see at Costco.
There was a story he told me, I don't know if it's been verified, but when Pablo was at the top of his game and he was watching some like show or movie, there was a supermodel on it, and he was like, I want her. And then like, boom, a few days later, they got in contact with her. They're like, Pablo wants to see you. And they just like flew her to his mansion and probably banged. Because like when you're like the most powerful person in the country, you can just do things like that.
Yeah, hopefully it was consensual there. He also did a big time declared war on the Colombian state, targeting politicians, judges, and journalists, and he took over entire neighborhoods and eventually was elected to Congress there.
Holy shit.
Whole representative What is his fucking name? Oh, Escobar. Representative Escobar was there.
Let's go.
And in that, whenever he was in charge of the cartel, 46,000 people died at the peak of it, including presidential candidates, people that were high-level government officials, didn't care, and most of it was civilians, and they would even bomb different villages that weren't cooperating. They would bomb them until they would, and then they would take over those areas as well.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then by the 1900s, Colombian authorities worked with the U.S., and they had big-time cartel smashdowns. And Escobar was killed in 1993. But there's all kinds of CIA rumors and like conspiracy theories, which I think are pretty accurate, that the United States involvement there in some ways made it a little bit worse, and because we wanted in on that money.
He kind of saw himself, though, as I said earlier, a Robin Hood character. Like he would try to give back to the poor a bit, but if you like tried to get in his way and stop his drug trade, you were being killed.
It's basically the Colombian Medellin version of The Godfather, where he was basically the Godfather.
Yeah, and I mean it's like if you watch the show Narcos on Netflix, that tells the Pablo Escobar story.
Fantastic show.
I got to watch it. I've only seen a few episodes.
It's really good.
So the area where I went that he used to keep his hippos, and there still are some hippos there, it was called Hacienda Nápoles, named after Naples, Italy. And one of the craziest things I saw there, he kind of built his own Jurassic Park, but just with fake dinosaurs.
That's exactly what I would do.
Okay. There's this one area of his giant estate, and you just see all these just gigantic dinosaurs made out of, I don't know, metal or paper mache or something. And some of them can actually move and stuff. But yeah.
Animatronics back then in the 80s and 90s is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, really, Escobar does do a lot of things that I would have liked to do. Like if I had, I would love to have a hippo farm.
Yep.
Fake dinosaurs that are just like roaring in the background when like my kids come over.
Sounds are terrifying.
And I also enjoy having sex with a beautiful woman like my wife.
He also had a classic car collection. Would you do that?
Yeah, I think so. If I had billions of dollars, I'd have every kind of collection imaginable.
Okay.
Even like fine china.
How was he eventually? I mean, I got to see exactly where he was killed, but this was in 2020, so I totally forget like how they eventually took him down.
Oh, he was killed in 1993 after years of being pursued by the Colombian authorities. It's a pretty crazy story, apparently. In 1989, the Colombian government specialized a task force that was called Search Blanc to hunt Escobar. The group used advanced surveillance intelligence and assistance from the CIA and the DEA to track him down. And then a vigilante group composed of Escobar's enemies also helped. So we do that too. Like we've had the Taliban help us fight against ISIS, and we will use our enemies to hunt our enemies in a lot of ways. And then he escaped from his self-designed luxury prison that he got.
Yeah, that's like a big piece of the story I forgot to mention. In 1991, Escobar, he offered to turn himself in to authorities. He just knew the entire country was hunting him. But under the stipulation that he would have to be allowed to build his own prison.
What a power move.
Yeah, so he voluntarily put himself under house arrest, but he just built this sick-ass mansion for him to live in. And I got to visit that mansion. It's on the hills overlooking Medellin, a sweet place. I think that's where he was when he banged the model that he saw on TV.
In the prison?
Yeah, because he was like, I can't leave.
Bring her to me.
Yeah, he was like, I can't leave prison, but I just saw a hot chick on TV. I want her here. And they just brought her to the prison.
God damn.
And he would have like famous soccer stars come and visit him at the prison too. Maybe Maradona. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing that name out there, but there was one like famous soccer guy that came and partied with him at the mansion.
That's so sick.
So yeah, his prison, it had a nightclub, a sauna, a waterfall, a soccer field. It had telephones, computers, fax machines. But then after Escobar tortured and killed 2 cartel members from his prison. Then they were like, all right, we gotta move him out of here. He's still torturing and killing people.
It's fucking crazy. And he eventually died. So he was in a small house after he escaped from that prison.
Yeah.
He was in a small little house, and his son was there too. The CIA and DEA broke into the doors because they finally found him, and Colombia was going to let the U.S. extradite him so that we could put him in a max security prison in the United States, so it would be harder for him to break out. We also did that with El Chapo. It was basically the same playbook that we did with El Chapo.
And is El Chapo in the U.S. right now?
Yeah, he's at a place called ADX Florence, which is the only legit supermax prison. So he's there. The Christmas Day shoe bomber is there. The Boston Massacre guy is there. Ted Kaczynski was there before he died.
Yep.
So all of our worst of the worst, the Bull, the mafia guy, the Bull, Sammy the Bull, he was there, and he did this documentary. He's one of the only people ever to be released from there. You're in there, you're 6 feet underground. You don't ever talk to somebody. You're in a 6x6 cell with only concrete on the inside. There's no metal. There's no anything. It's all concrete. You get a tiny little thin mattress, and you could spend the rest of your life there. If you touch anyone, and like when you're out in the yard, if they're like bringing you to medical or something like that, they have permission to shoot you on sight.
And if you're underground, I mean, are you allowed to see the sun at all?
No. Like they have a tiny window that's like 6 inches,
Yeah.
but all you can see is the sky. You can't see anything out. You probably won't ever see grass again if you're there, because they walk you inside too.
Yeah.
So if you're like in the indoor yard is where they can kill you.
Damn.
You get one phone call a month for 10 minutes. And if you talk about your case, or if you talk to anybody outside that family member, what they've been doing, they immediately end the phone call.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. 88X Florence is wild. That's where El Chapo is right now.
Yeah. So Pablo was like, I'd rather go down in a hail of bullets than end up in that place.
Yeah, and that's what he did. He got into a gunfight on the roof with the cops that came in. He started shooting with the pistol, and they loaded him up with lead. He got his silver or lead moment, and it was lead.
And then, Sam, bring up that photo that you had up a couple minutes ago of Pablo after he had been killed, because it looks like a bunch of like trophy hunters in Africa just posing with their prize kill. Like Pablo is just on the ground in a pool of blood.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of people just smiling behind him.
He's ass up, too.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Well, I guess not poor guy. Deserved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that saying, the letter silver, is plata o plomo, meaning you're either getting bribes or bullets.
Should we put that on a shirt?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. You ready to dive into some Getting Cultured?
Let's do it.
All right. Drop a Pin is sponsored by BetterHelp. We often hear about the red flags we should avoid, but what if we focus more on looking for green flags in friends and partners? If you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify green flags, actively practice them in your relationship, and embody the green flag energy yourself. Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form a relationship that loves you back. I've been in therapy for about 16 years, and I don't think I'll ever stop, because I've talked about it when I used to do 0 Block 30, that I look at the therapist as going to the brain dentist. Mm-hmm. You should just do it and get a little checkup, because everybody, even if you don't feel like something's going on, every now and then you just need to go get a checkup.
Yeah, the same way that plaque builds up on your teeth, kind of trauma can build up inside you. And sometimes it's just as simple as talking to someone about it, getting it out there to clear it up.
That's exactly right. And BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. And one of my favorite things about BetterHelp is getting a therapist can be tough, but if you go to BetterHelp, it's not. And if you don't like vibe with your therapist, which I think is pretty important, you could change it easily. You just go on, pick a different therapist. You could pick what time. You could, even if you want to do video chat or phone, you could do those text. You could do all kinds of different things with BetterHelp. It's great. So you can visit betterhelp.com/wonton today to get 10% off your first month. You can discover your relationship with green flags with BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/wonton. Let's get cultured.
Welcome back to Getting Cultured. We're doing voicemails again. We want to hear from the pinheads. So let's get into it. What do we got? I probably should have downloaded these first. Yeah.
Hey guys, love the show. I just had a question about proposals. My girlfriend and I love Christmas. I was thinking New York City, Christmas time would be the best proposal spot, but I was wondering what you guys thought, maybe somewhere else in the country or outside the country. Appreciate it.
I love this question because there's a lot of different options. First off, I think you need to have parameters for New York City, but that's why it's dangerous to propose there unless you have time to wait and you can plan a last minute one. Because if you're going to propose Christmas time in New York, it's got to be during a fresh snow. I feel like you need a fresh snow in order to pull that off.
New York probably hasn't got a lot of fresh snow recently.
I know. That's why you probably can't do it there.
It's still, New York is very festive around Christmas time. Like
you need snow. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like if you're doing a Christmas tree and there's dirty ass concrete, it's not the same as like snow-kissed shit. You're wearing your little toboggan or your stocking hat, whatever you're wearing. She's all bundled up. And I honestly think, I know sundress season is a big thing. I think most attractive is winter clothing. I think ladies look so cute. So I don't think you want to look like you're smoking hot in your engagement. I think you want to look cute as a button.
Yeah. My friend proposed, and his girlfriend at the time did not know it was coming, so she was just like wearing her pajamas. They were taking the dog for a walk, and she actually got pretty mad at him. She was like, you should have let me know. I would have wore something cuter. Like she was upset that she was just wearing her pajamas. But then it's like, well, don't you want it to be a surprise?
What was the setting? Where are they going if she's in
They
pajamas?
were in Chicago, but I think they were visiting some family here, staying at a hotel, and I think they just went to walk their dog, maybe on the river walk. She wasn't in like full-on pajamas, but she was just like, she had just gotten out of bed and had kind of thrown some things on and was upset that she wasn't going to look cute enough in the engagement photos.
You know, I was going to talk shit, but then I realized that my wife got engaged in pajamas too. Because I hate holding on to things like Christmas presents. I'm one of those guys that'll be like, do you want to open it up early? Do you want to do this? So one of the first gifts I had ever gotten her was a Van Gogh like painting print. That was like the almond blossom one. And whenever I lived in DC, the Smithsonian had the actual one. So I had one of my buddies that I was going to propose underneath that. So then we would have that over our bed. And instead, I told her what my plan was the night before because I drank a lot of wine that tasted like grape juice. It's called Lexington and Concord. It was like legit Welch's type of grapes. Shit. And it had a lot of sugar. So I got super hammered and told her what it was and just asked her while Michael Bublé played in the background.
Oh, no.
I know. And then I called
you don't want to do that.
I called like 15 friends and was like, will you be my best man?
So you like premature engagement elated.
Yeah. I pre-nutted an engagement. Yeah.
God damn it. No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I ruined it. But 15 years later, it turned out okay.
Okay. Also, when you're thinking of NYC, you got to think about where you're going to do it. You don't want to do it in the Olive Garden in Times Square.
I disagree.
Okay. You could do it at the Margaritaville pool deck.
Oh, that'd be real hippo mode.
Yeah, a hippo mode engagement. I mean,
while she's in there and she's like just doing a float, drop it on her belly button.
Although I think that Margaritaville went out of business, so it'll be closing down soon. Yeah,
because you guys went like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, and then we went like, right after it opened. I don't know. You'd think that place would be a gold mine.
Where do you think you should do it? If you are going to do...
It's so hard to know because, I mean, I got engaged at Popeye's Village in Malta, which was, it's kind of like a Popeye-themed amusement park.
So I think you got, because I asked you earlier, restaurant or cartoon character?
The cartoon character. Yeah. It was the actual movie set where they filmed the 1980 movie Popeye starring Robin Williams. And we were doing a trip to Malta, and it was kind of, I think she knew at some point during this trip I was going to propose. I mean, we went ring shopping together. I don't know. I didn't have the nerve to just go out and wing it because it's such a big purchase. You don't want to buy a ring that she like, oh, I didn't really want this ring.
Yeah.
I mean, some people wing it, but I don't know. I was like, well, then let's just go out and take a look at some rings.
And it's not like you don't talk about like getting married whenever you're dating, you know? Like,
yeah.
If you're getting to that point, you've talked about it.
So we were in Malta. We heard they had this amusement park, and we went, and yeah, it was probably made with kids in mind, but they also had a full bar and like a little beach club going on, and we were both having a blast. So I just decided to pull the trigger right there. And I didn't like have a friend with us that could kind of film the whole thing or take photos. So I just handed my phone to a British woman, and I was like, hey, can you take a photo of me and my girlfriend? But I actually started recording a video, hand her the phone, and then I got on one knee. So I do have it on camera, and then you hear her behind the camera be like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. like she had no idea it was going to happen. Then like
can we put that in?
Yeah, for sure. I actually made a vlog about it, so it's already on the internet.
Sweet.
We can definitely throw it in here. Will you marry me?
Congratulations!
She said yes, even though Popeye tried his best to ruin the moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, last announcement will be 2 minutes only. These are the 2 minutes before we ask you to start making your way to the reception, folks.
How long have we been together?
6 years.
Sorry, I'm still filming.
6 years.
Amazing.
And she knew we were going to get engaged. She didn't know it'd be at this exact spot in Popeye's Village, but
Oh my God.
she knew. And we had a blast. I can tell you one way not to do it. I knew a guy in Shanghai.
Like me?
What?
Like mine?
Yeah. Don't propose how Chaps do it, where you already have someone mapped out and then you get too drunk and then just nut all over the place. This was a guy, he was in bed with his girlfriend. His girlfriend was still asleep. He put the ring on her finger while she was asleep. And then he woke her up, was like, look down at your hand. She looks down and then he was like, will you marry me? And it's like at that point, the ring's
She's already said yes.
Yeah, the ring's already on her finger. She was like, yeah, I guess. And I'm pretty sure she called off the engagement after 5 months or something.
Doing it sneak attack like that is a lot better than the sneak attack that we learned about in Bhutan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, listen to that episode to know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't want to say it again.
If you are thinking NYC, I don't think it's open in the winter, but Governor's Island, it's a little island off the coast. It's got these bluffs, and like there's this one really beautiful bluff, and then you just got the whole financial district skyline in the background. I got a cool photo of it. That would be a beautiful place to propose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't I don't know, do you know any other general rules of thumb for engagement?
No, and it's tough. Like, I feel like you have to be discerning. Like your buddy that she was wearing pajamas, I feel like even if you go in with that plan, and I know it's rich me talking about it after what I just said, if you're going in with a plan, stick with it. I wish I would have. I think it would have been a lot nicer. And then afterwards, we got rid of that super nice painting print that I had gotten, so it was all for nothing.
And you probably just, you don't want to do it in your house, right? Or in your apartment. You want to do it like someplace that's a little special. But it could be that special place. You don't have to travel to a foreign country. It could just be like this park where you guys it holds a special place in your heart for some reason.
Yeah.
Back to my friend who proposed in Chicago. When he was visiting, he was like, do you know a camera guy who could film it and take some photos? And I was like, I know a guy, Fasoli, who's a camera guy here. So I put them in touch. He offered to pay him some money, and they had like a plan. He was like, okay, I'm going to propose right here. So Fasoli's hiding in a bush. But then I guess, according to Fasoli, that my friend ended up walking a little bit further. So at the last minute, he had to change places, and a lot of his photos came out pretty blurry. Because then after the engagement, like I didn't hear from my friend. So I was like, oh God, something must have gone wrong. And then he like posted the photos, and I could tell he didn't really use like a lot of the ones that Fasoli took.
What the fuck, Fasoli?
But then like Fasoli, then they kind of like recongregated, and he took some more nice ones.
Yeah, because he's good at that.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think they had a plan, and he was set up in one area.
So in most heterosexual relationships, it's the man that will propose to the woman. I had a very special moment in Hawaii, because I feel like it shouldn't just be ladies that get that experience in their life. I think everybody wants to be proposed to and treated special.
Yeah.
So I talked my wife into surprising me at some point and proposing to me.
On the trip, yeah.
Yeah. No, just in general. I started asking her like probably 3 years prior. And
shit.
I was like, well, what do you do at Disney World? Like, what do you think about asking me to marry you in front of like the Epcot ball or something like that? We were at Disney World, because I just thought it'd be a funny picture. She didn't do it, was super against it. I had kind of gave up on it. We went to Waimea Falls in Hawaii, and when we were walking over this bridge that has like beautiful Waimea Falls behind it, she got down on one knee and proposed to me there.
How'd it feel?
It was unbelievable. Legit, I was so like overwhelmed with love. It was just, what a moment. I highly encourage the women that are listening, if you are married already, ask your husband to marry you. And the comments that I got on Twitter were absolutely incredible when I posted the picture.
That's awesome.
That my wife proposed to me.
I know some people like redo their vows after a while. It's kind of a similar thing. You got to redo your engagement at some point.
Yeah, or I think even, will you stay married to me, is a nice proposal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A little like vibe check on the marriage.
Yeah.
If your wife re-proposes to you 10 years later, the marriage is going pretty well.
Right. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to another question.
Hey, Donnie. Hey, Chaps. Loves the show. It's phenomenal. Tell everybody to watch it. Quick question for you from someone who has done a decent amount of travel internationally and domestically. What would you recommend as a surefire way to, hypothetically speaking, find recreational narcotics when you're abroad? Again, hypothetically speaking. Thanks, guys.
I think a lot of that depends on what country you are in.
Yeah, and
like
I will
if you're
say,
in Jamaica, walk down the street.
Yep. Yeah. Walk down the street. And it's also, I think it's a lot easier to find something like weed when you're in a foreign country than if you're looking for a harder drug. Because then
like
you
meth.
like meth or like cocaine, because cocaine's a white powder. You have no idea what is actually in that white powder.
Yeah.
So I would say there's not really a surefire way. It's kind of like when you go to Las Vegas, you're supposed to ask the taxi drivers for whatever sort of party favors you're looking for, and they can usually point you in the right direction. I mean, I've known people that were in Europe and they tried to buy some cocaine, and the guy hands them like crumpled up paper towel, and they just assume that then there's going to be like a bag, a little plastic baggie inside the paper towel, but then they go home and open up the paper towel and it's just
a paper towel.
It's just paper towel.
I mean, if you could get that, that's a great scam to run, because it's 100% profit.
Yeah. And it's like, if you're out in public, you're not going to want to go and like actually take out the cocaine there. So you're just going to put it in your pocket, wait till you get home, and then see what's in there.
I guess the biggest danger is doing that to somebody and then they just go to the bathroom and then you're still hanging around.
Oh, you can't be hanging around if you're trying to pull that scam.
Yeah. One customer per bar.
This is also the most absurd story. That I had a friend that was on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and a guy, I think he was either walking down the street being like, who wants some drugs? Who wants some drugs? Or he walked up to him and was like, yeah, could I get a bag of blow? And the guy was like, all right, all you got to do for it is I have to show you my penis.
I have to show you mine.
Yes. He was like, you have to look at my penis. So it's like, he didn't have to touch it or anything like that.
That's like the light version of Bob Saget in Half Baked, where you're like, you ever suck dick for weed?
Yeah. No, this was, he didn't have to touch the penis or anything. He was just like, all I have to do is look at it. So he dropped trow. He had to like stare at his penis for 5 seconds. And then the guy.
That's a long time.
5 seconds? Well, you're apparently a huge penis guy.
I am a huge cock guy.
Yeah.
But let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a long meat gaze.
Yeah, but then you're getting free drugs that are probably worth close to $100. Like,
free. Yeah. That's the worst. That's the best prostitution I've ever heard of.
I know. I could just be, I would stare at some cocks for a lot of things. I would not go beyond that.
Fish fillet at McDonald's.
No.
Okay.
No.
One of those
But, I mean,
wraps that you got in India, the KFC wraps.
No, but for like a $75 steak, I would.
Yeah, I'd look at a dick for $75 steak.
Yeah, just a random dude's dick.
Just go into the bathroom. The like bathroom attendants like, hey,
Yeah.
it's on me. Mm-hmm. But you got to stare at my cock.
Listen, I'm not opposed to staring at cock. I mean, if you just watch porn, you're seeing a lot of cocks.
Yeah, we all.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. But I mean, it is, I will say, like, going about finding drugs in foreign countries, like, it's never gonna, there's no like surefire way to go about it right. Because, I mean, if you're in Colombia, in the most touristy areas, there's going to be people walking around trying to sell you drugs, but then you also know they're probably trying to sell you the worst quality drugs just because they know they can rip off tourists. So I guess, like, if you know a local who's in that country, that's the best way to go about it. Because if not, there's always going to be people trying to rip off tourists.
Yep.
All right, should we do one more?
Yeah.
Hey, Donnie. Hey, Chaps. Hey, I had a question for you guys regarding the language barrier in both China and Japan. I want to travel to Shanghai or Tokyo one day, but I'm a pretty well-traveled person, being to both Europe and Central America. But my biggest worry of going to Asia is the language barrier and being able to get around with just knowing English and not knowing any Japanese or Chinese in the cities. I know that, Shanghai and Tokyo are extremely international and there's a lot of English around, but, is that the case in everywhere in those cities? I like to go off the beaten path, sort of like Donnie likes to do in his videos. So, yeah, just curious on your experiences with speaking English in those countries. Thanks.
Great question. And I think that, so a good example, the other day, Sam, who's sitting in producing, he had a camera that had nothing but Japanese letters on it, like Japanese kanji. And you go to Google Glass or you go to Google Translate and you put it over the kanji symbol and it will translate it to English instantly. So
I've been using that a lot.
Yeah. And like if you go to Japan, and most places, if you go to Tokyo or something like that, there's going to be a lot of people that speak English in Tokyo, in my experience. But if not, you can use your phone to translate right then and there. So the street signs become easier, and a lot of the street signs have English too.
Yes. Now, I have heard that you'll actually find more people speaking English in Shanghai than in Tokyo, even though I think, like, just as many people in Tokyo can speak it, they're more shy about trying to speak it. Because, like, in Japan, they're like, if my English isn't perfect, I'll be so embarrassed if I speak it and
Saving
make
face is huge.
some mistakes. Yeah. So even, like, there'll be someone who's just, speaks pretty good English, but they're too nervous to actually speak it with you. When I first arrived in China, it was definitely harder than it is now. Now they have all these apps. So when I arrived, the one time I knew I'd have to speak Chinese is getting into a cab and telling them where to go. And with Chinese, there's 4 tones. So how you say something, I'd be like, "Wo yao chu Fu Xing Lu, and they'd be like, what are you talking about? And if I had said, Wo Yao Chu Fu Xing Lu, then they'd be like, oh, okay. So that was a struggle. Now they have an app, Didi, where you just put in where you're going and a taxi driver shows up and takes you there. And then the app, if you like have to ask them some more questions, you can just text it in the app and it automatically translates it for the driver. So that was clutch. Yeah, I think
travel's just easier with an iPhone.
Yeah, it's so much easier with an iPhone. And then just, I guess, body language. Going into restaurants, there's a lot of spots where you can either like see the food or the menu will have photos of the food, and then you can just point. But
again, that's easier with the phone because you can actually just hover it over it and it'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, you do Google Translate. You hit on the photo icon, I think, and then literally it will just see whatever text is in front of it and translate it in real time. That's been a lifesaver for me. I mean, I also lived in Italy for a year, spoke like zero Italian, didn't run into any trouble. Yeah, I think Google Translate is a godsend, and you'll be good. I'm trying to think if there was like ever a situation where I was really screwed.
The only time my car broke down in like a pretty remote spot in Okinawa where there was no Americans around, and I was dealing with farmers who came up to try to be nice to help me out, and they ended up actually fixing it. But talking to them, there was no way for me to. They was like, "Oh, go down here," like trying to get the different parts or whatever, and I had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah,
I assume parts or like a shop is what they were telling me, but I still don't know.
Okay,
whoever they were, shout out to them.
The one time I was up Schitt's Creek a bit is when my apartment flooded. I had knocked off the nozzle on this faucet that was on my balcony, and then the whole apartment started flooding. I had a pet duck at the time, so the duck was just like swimming around my apartment. And I ran.
Probably like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, he was having a blast. But I was so fucked. So then I run down, and there's the security guard, and I'm just like, I think I knew how to say explosion and I was like, I think I was just saying help in Chinese. Can you come up? And then I run up and no one comes to help. So then I went back down. I started being like, pow, pow, explosion. And he still was not going to come help me. I literally just had to drag him up to my apartment and be like, I got a fucking duck swimming around my living room.
Yeah.
And he finally got the point.
Duck a common pet in China?
No. We could do a whole podcast episode about that, but I don't want to go into it right now.
I do soon.
Yeah. They do not make good pets, I'll tell you that much. Can't be potty trained because they don't have a sphincter, so they just shit all over the place.